Admiral June Park stood before the large holographic display showing the Galactic Council chamber. His face showed no emotion as the alien representatives shouted accusations at humanity once again. The peace talks had gone on for 6 months, but they had turned into nothing more than organized bullying. 57 different alien species were in the council. Not one of them wanted to listen to what humans had to say. Admiral Park had expected this, but it still disappointed him. He had hoped for better from beings who called themselves advanced. "The human delegation has thought about your terms," Admiral Park said in a calm voice. He did not show the anger he felt inside. "We cannot accept them." High Counselor Delvara leaned forward in her floating chair. She was from the Artaxian Empire, the oldest and most powerful group in the council. Her body was not like a human's. She had crystal-like arms that caught the light as she moved. "Perhaps you do not understand, Admiral," Delvara said with a cold smile. "These are not suggestions that you can refuse. They are demands that your species must follow if you wish to exist in council space." Behind Admiral Park stood 2 other humans. Commander Han-Ji kept her hands behind her back, standing straight like the soldier she was. Next to her, Science Director Song-Mi Lee watched the aliens with careful eyes. Both women had read the reports about the council. They knew these peace talks were just a show. The truth was simple. The council was afraid. Humans had advanced too quickly. In just 300 years, Earth had gone from simple spaceflight to having colonies on 20 planets. No other species had moved so fast. The council wanted to slow humans down, to control them. "Then we have nothing more to talk about," Admiral Park replied. "Humanity officially leaves these negotiations." A wave of surprise moved through the alien delegates. They had not expected this. According to their plans, humans were supposed to be scared. Humans were supposed to accept any terms to avoid making the council angry. "You cannot leave," hissed Representative Keltar. He was from the Merodian Collective, a group of hive-mind insects who controlled many trading routes. "The results would be very bad for your people." Commander Han stepped forward, her eyes narrow. "Is that a threat, Representative?" "Just a statement of fact," Keltar replied, his mandibles clicking. "Species who stand alone do not do well in this galaxy." The 3 humans looked at each other. They had discussed this possibility many times before coming to the meeting. Admiral Park nodded to his team, then turned back to the council. "We know what has happened to other species in the past, but humanity has never followed normal patterns." He straightened his dark blue uniform. "We are leaving now. If any of your ships enter Earth space or come near our colonies, we will consider it an act of war." As they turned to leave, Science Director Lee could not stay quiet. She looked back at the council members. "You might want to study human warfare throughout our history. It might teach you something important." The human delegation walked through the quantum portal back to their ship, leaving shocked silence in the council chamber. Not one of the alien delegates had thought this would happen. Humans were supposed to be reasonable and easy to control. Most importantly, humans were supposed to be afraid of the council's power. They were about to learn how wrong they were. On board the Earthship Resilience, Admiral Park took a deep breath. The air smelled cleaner than in the council chamber. He had grown tired of the mix of alien scents and the feeling of being looked down upon. "That went as expected," Commander Han said as they walked toward the command center, "though I think Director Lee's parting comment might have been too much." Lee smiled. "They needed to hear it. The council thinks we're just another young species they can bully into line. They forget that human history is different from theirs." "Admiral," Park nodded. "Most council species had peaceful development. They unified their worlds without much conflict, then moved to the stars. They don't understand what it means to come from a world like Earth." The command center of the Resilience was busy with activity. Officers moved between stations, preparing the ship to return to Earth. On the main screen, they could see the massive council station growing smaller as they moved away. "Send the message to Earth Defense Command," Park ordered. "Tell them the talks have failed as we predicted. We are coming home." A young communications officer nodded. "Yes, Admiral. Should I include the emergency code?" "Yes," Park said. That will let them know to start the preparations we discussed. Commander Han looked at the tactical display. Several council ships had changed their positions since the humans had left the meeting. They're trying to look casual, but they're moving to block possible escape routes. Let them, Park said. We're not using standard flight paths anyway. Science. Director Lee joined them at the tactical display. I've been monitoring their communications. They're surprised, but they're also angry. The Merodian representative is pushing for immediate action against us. Of course he is, Park said. The Merodians have the most to lose if we develop our own independent trade routes. The three of them had worked together for years, leading humanity's efforts to understand their place in the galaxy. What they had learned was troubling. The Council presented itself as a peaceful organization that helped species grow, but the truth was different. It was a system designed to keep power where it already existed. How long until we reach the jump point? Park asked. 20 minutes, Admiral, replied the navigation officer. Council ships are adjusting course to follow us, but they're keeping their distance. Park nodded. They won't attack yet. They need time to agree on a response. The Council hasn't faced a direct challenge in over 1,000 years. Commander Han looked concerned. When we jump, they'll know our capabilities. We've kept our latest drive technology secret until now. It can't be helped, Park replied. We need to get home quickly. Earth needs to prepare. Science Director Lee checked her data pad. I've encrypted all our research files. If they somehow capture this ship, they won't learn anything new about us. The minutes passed in tense silence. The Council ships continued to follow at a distance, their intentions unclear. Admiral, called out the sensor officer suddenly. We're detecting energy buildups in the Council vessels. They may be preparing weapons. Park's face remained calm. It seems some of them are more eager than others. Prepare the countermeasures, but don't activate them unless they fire first. He turned to his two trusted colleagues. This is happening faster than we expected. The Council is usually slow to act. They fear us more than we realized, Lee said quietly. Our growth frightens them. Jump point in 3 minutes, announced the navigation officer. Park straightened his uniform. Now we see if they're willing to start a war today. The Council ships continued to close the distance, their weapons hot, but not firing. They're trying to intimidate us, Han observed. Miscalculation, Park replied. If there's one thing humans don't respond well to, it's intimidation. Jump point in 1 minute. Park addressed the entire bridge crew. When we return to Earth, everything changes. The peace we hoped for isn't possible now. But remember this. Humanity didn't choose this path. The Council forced our hand when they refused to treat us as equals. The stars outside the viewports began to stretch as the ship prepared to jump. They think they know what humans are capable of, Park said quietly. They have no idea. In a flash of light, the resilience disappeared, leaving the Council ships behind. Humanity had made its choice. The war for survival was about to begin. They're moving their ships toward our borders, General Kim Tae said, pointing to the large holographic map in the middle of the room. The map showed hundreds of small lights moving across space. Each light was an alien ship. The emergency meeting, in Earth's orbital command center, had been going for 12 hours now. No one had left for breaks. No one had slept. The future of humanity was at stake. Defense Minister Jun Ho Choi nodded, his tired eyes fixed on the map. How long do we have before they can attack? 3 weeks at the least, replied Admiral Park. He had just returned from the failed peace talks. His uniform was wrinkled from the long journey home. The Council races rarely work together like this. They will be slow and disorganized at first. Around the large table sat 20 men and women. They were Earth's unified defense council. Military leaders, scientists, and government representatives from every continent were there. Each person had been chosen for their skill and knowledge. What the Council aliens never understood was that humanity's divided history had made them unique. Centuries of fighting each other had taught humans things that alien civilizations couldn't understand. Many alien species had achieved peace thousands of years ago. They had forgotten what war was really like. Humans had not. Science Director Lee stood up and touched the control panel. A new image appeared on the screen. Project Blackout is ready to use. When we activate it, their quantum communication network will stop working. Minji Kang, the lead engineer for defense systems, also stood up. The shield technology has been updated with random patterns. Their standard weapons will be less than half as effective against our ships and bases. What about our own weapons? Asked General Kim. Captain Dae-jung Ryu pressed a button and a video played on the main screen. It showed a test firing of a new weapon. The beam of energy cut through a thick metal wall like it was paper. The Sol-class destroyers now have the new graviton cannons, Captain Ryu explained. Tests show they can break apart the molecules in Council ship hulls in under 15 seconds. Minister Choi looked around the room. Remember, we don't want a full war if we can avoid it. We need to show them how strong we are so they will talk to us as equals. Admiral Park nodded. They won't expect us to attack first. That's our advantage. The Council races believe we will hide behind our borders and hope someone will help us. What about the neutral systems? Asked a young political advisor. We need friends out there, or at least people who won't join against us. We're working on that, replied the intelligence director. There are many civilizations that don't like Council control. They're watching to see if we can stand up to the Council. Science Director Lee looked troubled. There's something else you need to know. She brought up new images on the screen. They showed ancient artifacts found on Earth. Our deep space probes have detected technology that matches Earth's ancient artifacts. Several Council races are using technology that came from Earth's past, technology older than our recorded history. They have been keeping secrets from us. The room went quiet as everyone thought about what this meant. Admiral Park's face hardened. So this isn't just about stopping a rising power. They've been using our heritage while keeping us in the dark. It seems that way, Lee confirmed. Minister Choi stood up. Then our plan is clear. Operation Swift Response begins at 0600 tomorrow. May our ancestors watch over us. As the meeting ended, Admiral Park stayed behind, staring at the map of Council space. Humanity had always been underestimated. It was time for the galaxy to learn why that was a mistake. In a secret facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Commander Han Ji walked through heavy security doors. Each door scanned her eyes, her handprint, and her DNA before opening. What lay beyond these doors was humanity's greatest secret. The main chamber was enormous. It stretched for a kilometer in each direction. In the center sat 50 small ships, each one barely large enough for 2 people. Are they ready? Commander Han asked as she approached the chief engineer. Yes, Commander. The Wraith-class vessels are fully operational. Each one has been equipped with the new cloaking technology and weapon systems. Han nodded and walked to the nearest ship. It was sleek and black, with no visible windows or doors. It didn't look like it could be seen by any normal sensors. And the pilots? The best we have. They've been training in simulators for months. They know exactly what to do. Han placed her hand on the cool surface of the ship. The Council thinks they know all about human technology. They think they've been monitoring everything we build. She smiled slightly. They have no idea this exists. The chief engineer looked proud. The cloaking technology is unlike anything we've ever developed. Even our own sensors can barely detect these ships when the system is active. And the weapons? Precise and powerful. Each Wraith can disable a ship 10 times its size, without destroying it completely. Commander Han nodded. Good. We don't want to kill unless we have no choice. We just need to show them what we can do. She turned and looked at the rows of ships. Begin final preparations. The Wraiths leave in 6 hours. In his private quarters, Admiral Park looked at old photographs of Earth. One showed the ruins of an ancient city, buried for thousands of years. Archaeologists had found strange technology there, things they couldn't understand. Now he knew why. That technology wasn't just advanced. It was from a human civilization so old that all records of it had been lost. And somehow, the Council races had that same technology. A soft knock on his door interrupted his thoughts. Enter, he called. Science Director Lee walked in, carrying a datapad. The final analysis of the Council fleet movements, she said, handing him the pad. Park looked at the information. They're gathering near Proxima Centauri, just as we predicted. Yes, they think they're being clever by assembling just outside our territory, Lee said. They want to make a big show of force. Park put down the pad. What do you think? Will our plan work? Lee was quiet for a moment. The technology we've developed in the past 6 months is beyond anything we've ever created. The Project Blackout system should disable their ships completely. The Wraith vessels should be invisible to their sensors. She paused. But there are always unknowns in war. We're not starting a war, Park reminded her. We're preventing one. By attacking first, Lee pointed out. By showing strength, Park corrected. The Council only respects power. Once they see what we can do, they'll have to treat us as equals. Lee nodded. I hope you're right. What about the special envoy ship? Is it ready? Yes. Diplomat Co has been briefed. She understands her role. Park stood up and looked out the small window at Earth below. Then all we can do now is wait. In 24 hours, the galaxy will see humanity in a new light. Lee was about to leave when she turned back. Admiral, what if we're wrong? What if they don't back down? Park's face was serious. Then we'll have to show them more than just our first line of defense. And they won't like what comes next. As Lee left, Park returned to studying the ancient photographs. Somewhere in humanity's forgotten past lay the keys to their future. The Council had been using those keys for centuries while keeping humans ignorant. That time was over. Humanity was taking back its heritage, and the first step would happen tomorrow at the Proxima Centauri Gateway. The Council was about to learn a hard lesson. The Council warfleet gathered near the Proxima Centauri Gateway. Over 300 ships floated in the darkness of space. They represented 22 different alien species. Each ship was painted with the colors and symbols of its home world. Together, they formed the largest military force seen in this part of the galaxy for 1,000 years. Their plan was simple: show so much power that the humans would have no choice but to surrender. Then the Council would force humans back to peace talks with much worse terms than before. High Commander Veltar stood on the bridge of his massive ship. He was from the Artaxian Empire, the oldest and most powerful member of the Council. His skin had a blue-green color that seemed to glow under the ship's lights. The humans have had a week to think about their mistake, Veltar said to his officers. Once they see our combined fleet, they will understand they cannot resist the Council. His second-in-command, a younger Artaxian named Melor, looked less sure. Our spies report unusual activity in human space since they left the talks. They have sent many coded messages between their worlds. They are probably panicking, Veltar said with a wave of his hand. Prepare the jump to the human home system. We will arrive just outside their defense line as a warning before we demand they surrender. The huge fleet began to line up for the jump through space. Energy built up as the gateway prepared to send them to the solar system, home of the humans. In that moment, something unexpected happened. On every ship in the fleet, the lights went out. Computer screens went blank. Engines stopped working. Emergency alarms tried to sound but failed. Confusion spread across the fleet as backup power systems struggled to activate. Ships drifted in space, unable to control their movement. On the bridge of the Artaxian flagship, officers ran from station to station, trying to understand what was happening. What is going on? Veltar demanded. Get power back now. Unknown. High Commander, an officer replied in a panicked voice. Something is blocking all energy systems. Nothing in our record shows anything like this. A few emergency sensors began to work. They showed small objects appearing near the fleet. Detecting multiple small craft, called out a sensor operator. They are too small to be warships. Maybe they are messenger ships? Veltar looked at the emergency screen. Why would they send small ships? That makes no sense. What the Council fleet did not know was that these small objects were humanity's new Wraith-class stealth ships. Each one carried enough weapons to disable a ship many times its size. They had been hiding near the gateway for days, their new cloaking technology making them invisible to all Council sensors. Captain Jinwoo Yoon led the Wraith Squadron with calm confidence. He had practiced this mission hundreds of times in simulations. Now it was real. Target only their engines and weapons, he ordered his pilots. Remember, we want to make a point, not start a massacre. The Wraiths moved through the disabled Council fleet like ghosts. Their weapons fired with incredible precision. Each shot hit exactly where it was aimed. Within 20 minutes, the entire Council fleet was helpless. They could not fight, run away, or even call for help. As the Wraiths finished their work, a single human diplomatic ship appeared through the gateway. It sent a message that all ships in the Council fleet could hear. This is Special Envoy Hyejin Ko representing United Earth. Your fleet has been disabled, but your life support systems are still working. You are not in danger. We have shown you only a small part of our capabilities. You were wise not to enter our home system uninvited. After a short pause, she continued, 3 representatives from your fleet may board this ship to discuss terms for your safe return to Council space. You have 30 minutes to decide. On the Artaxian flagship, Veltar stared at the message in shock. The humans had not just defended themselves, they had completely defeated the combined might of the Council without firing a single shot that could kill anyone. Worst of all, they had shown mercy when the Council would have shown none. How is this possible? He whispered. His second-in-command had no answer. No one did. In the small Wraith ship, Captain Yoon watched as the diplomatic vessel waited for the Council's response. Sir, all targets have been neutralized, his weapons officer reported. No casualties detected on any Council ships. Yoon nodded. Good. Keep monitoring their emergency systems. If they try any tricks, we'll know. Yoon had served in Earth's Defense Force for 15 years. He had never expected to be part of such an important mission. His ship was barely large enough for 2 people, but it carried technology that had changed the balance of power in the galaxy overnight. Captain, detecting movement from the Artaxian flagship, said his sensor officer. A small shuttle is launching, 3 life forms on board. They appear to be heading for the diplomatic vessel. Good, Yoon said. They're not as stupid as we thought. He opened a communication channel to the other Wraith ships. All units maintain positions. Stay cloaked. Remember, this is not over until our people are safely back through the gateway. The back of his mind, Yoon wondered how the Council representatives would react when they learned the truth. Earth had not just developed new weapons. They had rediscovered their ancient past, a past that the Council had been hiding from them. On board the diplomatic vessel, Special Envoy Hyejin Ko prepared to meet the Council representatives. She was not a military person. Before this crisis, she had been a professor of galactic history. Now her knowledge would be put to a different use. The shuttle is docking now, Madam Envoy, her aide reported. Ko straightened her formal diplomatic uniform. Are our security measures in place? Yes. If they try anything hostile, they will be stopped. Ko nodded. I don't think they will. They're too shocked right now. The doors opened, and 3 aliens entered the meeting room. Veltar of the Artaxians led the group. Behind him came a representative of the Merodian Collective and one from the Trillian Conclave. Welcome, Ko said formally. Please be seated. Veltar's face showed a mix of anger and confusion. What have you done to our ships? How is this possible? Ko remained calm. We have temporarily disabled your fleet using technology that blocks energy transfer at the quantum level. Your ships will be fully operational again when we choose to restore them. Such technology does not exist. The Merodian representative clicked. It violates multiple laws of physics as we understand them. Your understanding is incomplete, Ko replied simply, just as your understanding of humanity has been incomplete. She activated a display on the table. It showed images of ancient ruins on Earth alongside technology found on Council worlds. For centuries, the Council has been using technology originally developed by human ancestors, Ko said. Technology you found on abandoned worlds across the galaxy. Technology you kept hidden from us. The 3 aliens looked uncomfortable. Did not know it was of human origin, the Trillian representative said quietly. That is a lie, Ko stated flatly. Your own archives, which we have now accessed, prove otherwise. The Council has deliberately kept humanity ignorant of its past while using our ancestral technology for your own benefit. Veltar slammed his hand on the table. Even if that were true, it does not justify this attack on a peaceful Council fleet. Ko raised an eyebrow. Peaceful? You brought 300 warships to our doorstep with the intention of forcing us to submit. There was nothing peaceful about your intentions. She leaned forward. But despite that, notice that we have not killed anyone. We could have destroyed your entire fleet, but we chose not to. That is the difference between us. The room was silent for a moment. What do you want? Veltar finally asked. Equal treatment, Ko replied. Recognition of humanity as a full and independent power in the galaxy. Access to all information about our ancestral technology that you have been hoarding, and a new relationship based on mutual respect rather than intimidation. The Council has existed for 12,000 years, Veltar said. We cannot change our ways because one species demands it. Ko smiled. You misunderstand, High Commander. We are not asking. The old balance of power is gone. You saw only a fraction of what we can do today. We have much more that we did not. Need to show you? She stood up. You have two choices. Return to the Council and tell them that humanity is now to be treated as an equal partner, or... She paused. Discover what else we have developed during the months you spent trying to bully us. The three aliens looked at each other, a new emotion visible on their faces. Fear. For the first time in thousands of years, the mighty Galactic Council was afraid. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council had been going on for 3 days without a break. The great circular chamber, usually so ordered and peaceful, was now filled with angry voices. Representatives from 57 species argued with each other about what to do after their humiliating defeat at Proxima Centauri. They downloaded our tactical databases, weapons designs, and diplomatic records, shouted Representative Keltar of the Merodian Collective. His insect-like mandibles clicked with anger. This has never happened before. High Counselor Delvara, the Artaxian leader, tried to keep everyone calm. Her crystalline arms glowed with stress. We must find out how the humans gained such advanced technology without us knowing about it. Our monitoring of their development should have detected anything this powerful. The Council had spent centuries watching human advancement. They had agents on Earth and all human colonies. Nothing should have been hidden from them. Yet somehow humans had created weapons that the Council had never seen before. As the arguments continued, a new voice cut through the noise. An old alien named Mox walked slowly to the center of the chamber. He was from the Trelian Conclave, a species known for their long lives and deep knowledge. Mox rarely came to political meetings, so everyone stopped talking when he appeared. I asked to speak today because there is something important you need to understand about humans. The ancient alien said. His voice was quiet but carried across the entire room. Something I have studied for many years. The chamber became silent as everyone listened. When we first met humans, I began a careful study of how they handle conflict, Mox explained. Their history is different from any other species we know. They had thousands of years of constant warfare among themselves, yet they survived and continued to advance. Mox activated a display in the center of the room. It showed images from Earth's military history, from ancient battles with swords to modern conflicts with advanced weapons. Most species either destroy themselves through fighting or find peace before they reach the stars. Mox continued. Humans did neither. Instead, they developed something we have never seen before. They create their best innovations when under threat. The display showed how human technology improved rapidly during their wars. Each human war pushed their technology forward at incredible speeds. What takes other species hundreds of years, they do in tens of years. What should take decades, they achieve in just a few years. Mox looked around the chamber. When we started these so-called peace talks, we accidentally triggered their strongest response, preparation for a fight that threatens their survival. We gave them a clear enemy and a deadline. No one in the council chamber made a sound. The facts cannot be denied. In the 6 months since negotiations began, Human military research moved forward by about 400%. They didn't just improve what they already had. They created entirely new types of science. High Counselor Delvara's crystalline arms trembled slightly. Why were we not told about this research? I sent 17 reports, Mox replied calmly. They were labeled as guesses and ignored. But there is more you need to know. The holographic display changed to show ancient artifacts. The human science. Director was right when she left the peace talks. The quantum disruptors used against our fleet are based on technology found in human archaeological sites, technology we have been studying and keeping from humans for centuries. Sounds of surprise filled the chamber. They rebuilt their own ancient technology in months, then made it better than before. Do you understand what this means? The humans today have gone beyond what their ancestors could do. The same ancestors, whose leftover technology we have been trying to understand for generations. Representative Keltar hit the table with his leg. This is outrageous. You mean to tell us that these primitive beings are neither primitive nor what we thought they were? Mox interrupted. And there is one more important thing you should know. The display showed a map of council space with many small dots of light spread throughout it. These are human stealth probes, placed throughout our territory over the past week. They could have attacked all our homeworlds at the same time. Instead, they chose to show only a small part of what they can do. Everyone in the chamber understood what this meant. The humans do not want war, Mox finished, but we gave them no choice but to prepare for one. I suggest we think differently about them before we discover what else they can do. After Mox finished speaking, the chamber was silent for a long time. Finally, High Counselor Delvara spoke. Elder Mox, if what you say is true, then we have made a grave mistake in our approach to humans. It is true, Mox said. I have studied them for 50 years. They are unlike any species we have encountered before. A younger Trallian named Corv stepped forward. But if humans can develop such technology so quickly, they are a danger to all of us. Perhaps we should strike now, before they become even stronger. Mox shook his head. Did you not listen? They already have probes throughout our territory. They could have destroyed us but chose not to. If we attack again, they may not be so merciful. What do they want then? Asked a representative from a smaller world. What they have always said they want, Mox replied. To be treated as equals. To explore the galaxy without council control. To learn and grow in their own way. Impossible. Keltar clicked. The Council has controlled advancement in the galaxy for 12,000 years. We cannot allow one species to move forward without our guidance. I believe we no longer have a choice, Mox said simply. In a private room after the main meeting, High Counselor Delvara spoke with Elder Mox alone. Is there something you did not share with the full council? She asked. Mox nodded slowly. There is one thing I did not mention. In my studies of human history, I found a pattern. When threatened, they develop amazing new technology. But when befriended, they share that technology freely. You believe we should ally with them rather than try to control them? I believe it is the only safe path forward, Mox replied. The Council has existed for thousands of years because it adapts when necessary. This is one of those times when we must adapt or face consequences. Delvara looked out at the stars through a large window. The other major powers will resist this change. The Merodians, the Celtar Dominion, the Vux hierarchy, they all benefit from the current system. Then they must be shown the truth, Mox said. Perhaps it is time for a direct meeting between council leaders and humans, away from the formal setting of peace talks. What do you suggest? The ancient station orbiting Tau Ceti. It is neutral ground built by a species that vanished long ago. Both sides would feel safe there. Delvara was quiet for a moment. And if this meeting fails, if understanding cannot be reached, then I fear what will follow, Mox said softly. The humans have shown restraint so far, but every species has its limits. On Earth, Admiral Park received the message from the Council with surprise. They want to meet? Just a small group without formal protocols? He asked Science Director Lee. Yes, at the Tau Ceti station. 3 representatives from each side. Park thought about it. This is unexpected. I thought they would be preparing for war after what we did to their fleet. Perhaps they are smarter than we thought, Lee suggested. Or perhaps this Elder Mox has influenced them. Our intelligence reports say he has studied humans for many years. Do you think it's a trap? Park asked. Lee shook her head. The Tau Ceti station is genuinely neutral. Neither side could bring weapons there even if they wanted to. The station's ancient systems prevent it. Park nodded. Then we'll go. Select a diplomatic specialist to join us. I suggest Ji-Hoon Kwan, Lee said. He has the most experience with multiple alien cultures. Very well. Inform the council we accept their invitation. Let's see if they're really ready to talk to us as equals. As Lee left, Park looked at the star map on his wall. The first stage of humanity's plan had worked better than expected. The council fleet had been defeated without bloodshed. The human stealth probes had been placed throughout council space without detection, but what came next would be harder. Creating new technology was easier than creating new understanding between different species. We showed them our strength, Park said, quietly to himself. Now we need to show them our wisdom. The space station orbiting Tau Ceti was unlike any other structure in the galaxy. It had been built by a species that disappeared long ago. The station was a perfect circle with a diameter of 10 kilometers. Its walls were made of a material that no modern science could identify. It had survived for at least 50,000 years without any damage or decay. Inside the Great Observation Dome, 3 humans met with 5 representatives from the Galactic Council. The dome offered a beautiful view of the Tau Ceti star system. In the distance, a stellar nursery could be seen, where new stars were being born from clouds of gas and dust. Admiral June Park, Science Director Song-Mi Lee, and Diplomatic Coordinator Ji-Hoon Kwan represented humanity. From the council came High Counselor Delvara, Elder Scientist Mox, and representatives from 3 other major powers in the galaxy. Unlike the formal peace talks that had failed, this meeting had no set agenda, no demands from either side. It was just a conversation. Your ancestors built amazing things, Elder Mox said, breaking the silence as they all looked out at the stars. Things we have studied for thousands of years. Science Director Lee nodded. We have long suspected that an advanced human civilization existed before our recorded history. The archaeological evidence on Earth pointed to this, but much knowledge was lost. Not lost, Delvara corrected. Scattered. When the ancient human empire fell, their technology was spread across hundreds of worlds. Many of our species built their early civilizations using pieces of your ancestors' knowledge. Ji-Hoon Kwan leaned forward in his chair. And you were afraid we would try to take it all back if we learned the truth. Wouldn't you? Asked one of the other council representatives, a reptilian being from the Celter Dominion. If you found out that much of what we have was originally yours? Admiral Park shook his head. That is where you completely misunderstood us. Humanity does not look backward. We move forward. We don't want to reclaim some ancient glory. We want to build something new. Elder Mox nodded thoughtfully. Your response to our fleet proves this. You could have destroyed our ships, but you chose to simply disable them instead. War wastes resources and lives, Admiral Park said simply. We have learned that lesson many times in our history. High Counselor Delvara's crystal body caught the light of the newborn stars. The Council has existed for 12,000 years. We have kept stability by carefully controlling how technology and military power develop. Your rapid advancement threatened that stability. Perhaps stability is not always a good thing, suggested Ji-Hoon Kwan. Sometimes it is just another word for not moving forward. The room became quiet as the council members thought about this idea. What does humanity truly want? Delvara finally asked. Science Director Lee smiled. The same thing we have always wanted, to explore, to learn, to grow. We don't want to rule over other species. We've had enough conflict in our history to know its cost. And yet you prepare for conflict so well, noted Elder Mox. A habit born from necessity, Admiral Park replied. One we would prefer to use. in better ways. Ji-hoon Kwan activated a small device which projected a complex technical design into the air between them. This is a prototype for a new form of quantum drive. It could reduce travel time between stars by 60%. We are prepared to share this technology with all council races. The council representatives looked at the design with surprise. You would give this away freely? Asked Delvara. After what we tried to do to you? It is not a gift, Kwan explained. It is an investment in a different kind of future, one where advancement is shared rather than controlled. Elder Mox's ancient eyes seemed to brighten. You propose to change the basic way the council has operated for thousands of years. We propose to join you as equals, Admiral Park stated. Not as subjects, not as beggars, and not as conquerors. The galaxy faces challenges bigger than any single species. The energy storms at the galactic core, the strange entities discovered at the outer rim, these threats require us to work together. High Counselor Delvara was quiet for a long time before speaking. For 12,000 years, the Council has asked new species to adapt to our ways. Perhaps it is time for the Council to adapt instead. She stood up, her crystalline form catching the starlight. I propose a new beginning. Not peace talks between unequals, but a true alliance. Humanity has shown us that stability without growth leads nowhere. Your ancestors reached heights we still cannot fully understand. Yet they disappeared nonetheless. Together, perhaps we can achieve more than either of them could, and be wiser in how we use that achievement. As the delegates from both sides began discussing possibilities instead of demands, Admiral Park stepped away to the large window. Science Director Lee joined him, watching the stellar nursery where new stars were being born. Do you think it will work? She asked quietly. I don't know, he admitted. But for the first time, they are actually listening to us. And if they stop? Admiral Park continued looking at the stars. Then we will remind them why that is a mistake. Lee smiled. Beyond the window, a new star suddenly ignited, its first light reaching across space, just as humanity's influence was finally being recognized for what it truly was. 6 months later, the first Joint Human Council Research Center opened on Mars. Scientists from 20 different species worked together, sharing knowledge that had been kept separate for centuries. In the main laboratory, Elder Mox worked side by side with Science Director Lee. They were studying the ancient technology, found in ruins across the galaxy. It is remarkable, Mox said. When we combine your people's intuitive approach with our detailed analysis, we make progress that neither could achieve alone. Lee nodded. That is the lesson we all needed to learn. Diversity of thought leads to better solutions. In orbit, above Mars, a new type of ship was being constructed. It was the first vessel built using both human and council technology. It would be able to travel farther and faster than any ship before it. Admiral Park watched the construction from a viewing platform. Beside him stood High Counselor Delvara. There are still those in the council who resist this new alliance, Delvara admitted. Change is difficult after so many thousands of years. There are those on Earth who are suspicious as well, Park replied. Trust must be earned over time. And yet here we are, Delvara said, gesturing to the ship. Building something together that neither of us could have built alone. Park nodded. That is the beginning of true understanding. On Earth, in what had once been called the Forbidden City in China, archaeologists from 7 different species carefully excavated a newly discovered site. What they found there would change the galaxy's understanding of history forever. It was a complete library of ancient human knowledge, preserved in crystals that had waited for 50,000 years to be rediscovered. Ji-hoon Kwan stood watching as the first crystals were carefully examined. A young Trillian researcher approached him with excitement. We have activated one of the memory crystals, she said. It contains a message. It seems to be from the ancient humans to their descendants. Kwan followed her to a display where the message was being translated. The words were simple but powerful. To those who come after us. We reached for the stars too quickly. We spread too far before we understood ourselves. Learn from our mistakes. Advance in wisdom as well as knowledge. No species can survive alone. Find others, learn from them, teach them. Only together can you avoid our fate. Quan read the message twice. Then he sent a copy to Admiral Park and Science Director Lee. The Council had feared humans would reclaim their ancestral power and take revenge for being kept ignorant. Instead, humans had chosen a different path, one that might lead all species to a better future than any could achieve, alone. The humans who walked away from peace talks had not been seeking war. They had been seeking respect. And in finding it, they had changed the course of galactic history. New stars continued to be born in the Tau Ceti nursery, just as a new era was beginning for all intelligent life in the galaxy.